Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 17th Chino City Council meeting. I am Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, and I will be leading this evening's meeting. All council members are present with the exception of Mayor Yoloa, who is out tonight on an excused absence. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Flores to lead us in this evening's flag salute.
Thank you. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Our first item on the agenda tonight is a proclamation for Lights On After School Day. At this time, I'd like to call up Nicholas Gallardo, Chino CSPR coordinator with the City of Chino, Tricia Huffman, SOAR After School Program Grant Funded Manager with the Chino Valley Unified School District. Would you please come up and join us for the proclamation? Chris, I'm sorry, I kind of botched your title there a little bit. So the coordinator, he's one of our coordinators for our Parks and Recreation Committee. Whereas on October 26, 2023, Chino will join over 1 million Americans to celebrate the 24th annual Lights On After School event, the only nationwide event celebrating after-school programs and their important role in the lives of children, families, and communities. And whereas the City of Chino is committed to quality after-school programs for all youth because these programs provide safe, challenging, and encouraging learning and experiences, boost students' academic achievement, support working families by ensuring their children are safe and productive, build stronger communities by involving students, parents, business leaders, and adult volunteers in the lives of youth. Whereas over 7.7 million K-12 children in the United States and over 607,647 in California were without supervision during the after-school hours in 2020, according to America After 3 p.m., the survey conducted by the After School Alliance. Whereas members of the Chino Focus on Youth Collaborative, including the City of Chino and Chino Valley Unified School District, along with many other youth service organizations, provide significant leadership in the area of community involvement to enhance the education and well-being of Chino's youth during after-school hours, providing safe places for youth to become successful adults. And whereas the Chino community believes that every child should have access to a safe, friendly place where the lights are on after school. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem Karen Comstock of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim October 26, 2023, Lights On After School Day, and urge all residents to take advantage of the programs and services that are available to the community, presented on the 17th day of October, 2023. Nick, would you like to make a few comments for us?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. On behalf of the SOAR After School program, we are so excited, and we invite everybody here to attend one of our SOAR sites, and our staff has been working extremely hard to have a successful event, and we're excited to share it all with you.
And on the district side, I just want to say thank you again to our partners at the City of Chino for all of our staffing needs. We have TK all the way through 8th grade students at our program, so come out to any of our SOAR or RAP sites. They have special things planned for that day, and we have lots of activities going on all the time, so thank you again.
Well, I want to thank both of you. It's very, very important for our kids to have a safe place to go after school. Our staff is the best at providing some of those after-school care programs in partnership with the district, so we've always enjoyed a good working relationship that way. And I know there's a lot of parents in our community that appreciate those after-school programs you provide, including homework support and everything else. So you guys do a fantastic job taking care of our kids, and we're grateful for it. Can we give them a round of applause? Okay, and our next presentation tonight is a very, very special one for a very special man. We're going to be honoring the Chino Police Department retirement of Pastor Sheldon Boyd. I'd like to call up at this time Chaplain Sheldon Boyd and his family and the Chino members of the Chino Police Department, including Chief Kevin Minson and his staff. Today, we come together to honor a remarkable individual, Sheldon Boyd, whose unwavering dedication has left an incredible mark on the fabric of our city. We celebrate not just one facet of his life, but the mosaic of his contributions as a pastor, a police chaplain, and a community leader. For 38 years, Sheldon has been a faithful servant of the Church of the Nazarene. His journey began in Redwood City near San Francisco and continued in Fresno, California. In 1966, he arrived at the Chino First Church of the Nazarene, which later became Cornerstone Community Church. Beyond the pulpit, Sheldon's compassion knew no bounds. For 27 years, he served as a police chaplain for the Chino Police Department, offering not only prayers, but solace, understanding, and a comforting presence to our law enforcement officers. His service extended beyond the call of duty, standing alongside our officers during their most challenging moments. In addition to his role as a chaplain, Sheldon has been an active member of our community, advocating for understanding, compassion, and unity. His belief in serving others led him to the board of directors for the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce and the board of the Chino Valley YMCA, where his insights and wisdom have shaped the course of our community's growth. As we bid farewell to Sheldon, we do so with immense gratitude and deep respect. In just a few short weeks, Sheldon will be embarking on a well-deserved retirement. He and his wife, Sue, who has been his unwavering support throughout this remarkable journey, will be moving to Haines City, Florida. There, they will continue their journey surrounded by family, including his daughter, Shelley, son-in-law, Richard, and his granddaughter, Mallory. Sheldon, your legacy is not just one of service, but of love, faith, and community. You have been a guiding light, a mentor, and a source of inspiration to us all. And on behalf of the City of Chino, I extend our deepest gratitude for your immeasurable contributions. Sheldon, this is a great day for you, but a very sad day for us. And the first thing I want to say was the mayor was extremely disappointed that she couldn't be here this evening. She's at home not feeling well, but she asked for us to wish you the best in retirement. I know you've been a part of her inner circle and her mayor's prayer breakfast for a long time, and just an instrumental mentor to so many, and including myself, Sheldon. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for this community, for us, for the Chino Police Department, for me personally. A lot of hours sometimes sitting across from my desk in council or in talking. Sue, thank you for supporting him. You know, I live right around the corner from your church, which is running a beautiful school now. We're just so very grateful for everything you've done for us, Sheldon. And I hope in some small way that we have helped you in this journey. And we just wish you so much success and so much happiness and so much joy as you move to Florida with your family and enjoy the next chapter and season of your life. May God continue to bless you, Sheldon, and thank you just for everything.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure and privilege to serve this wonderful city. Aside from the congregation that I've served for 27 and a half years, my greatest joy has been serving the Chino Police Department. And I've been through now 7 chiefs. I just wear them all out. They just can't stand me for too long. But I do want to thank Karen especially. Back in 2016, when our daughter was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, my kids, my other daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter had come into town, and Karen asked, "What can we do for you?" And I said, my daughter would like for us all to go to Disneyland together. And so the department provided the resources to get us all there together. And then when she finally succumbed to cancer, the department was there for us again and supported us and provided the meal after the service. And we're so appreciative of the entire department and all they mean to us. It's been a great privilege to serve.
Sue, would you like to say something?
I guess he's cool. I hope that our legacy in Chino will live on for a long, long time. I know that you will live on in us for a long time. It's very hard to leave because we've been here for almost 30 years. And God has got his hand on our city. and it's a blessing to have been a part. Oh, oh no.
As the coordinator for the chaplains at the police department, this is my best friend. And so saying goodbye to him is very difficult for me. I think it's difficult for us as a community to say goodbye to somebody who has served so faithfully and so well. All of you on the dais and here in the city understand Sheldon's unwavering support of making this city a place where we love to be. I think God has had his hand on this city because of your investment and your investment in all of us. And especially for me, I'm going to tell you publicly I love you, and I'm going to pass the mic to the chief.
Take the mic after our pastor. So we're going to celebrate Sheldon next week at the Chino Police Department, where all of us can be there. So I'll save the majority of my comments for there. But first off, our chaplains are part of the foundation of who we are at the Chino Police Department. And their main mission is to serve the members of the department. And Sheldon, I want to thank you for serving the Chino Police Department for 27 years. Sue, I want to thank you for giving Sheldon to us for the hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of ride-alongs you have been on to connect with our police officers for all of the events, the Christmas parades, the DUI checkpoints. I know the list just goes on and on. So I am looking forward to the event next week where we'll give you a presentation and celebrate and cook some hot dogs for you. So look forward to it.
Sheldon, it's this council's honor to present you with your city tile. It's something very cherished by retirees of the community, and it reads Chaplain Sheldon Boyd. The city of Chino, the Chino City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Chino, wish to express their appreciation for your 27 years of dedicated service to the city of Chino and its residents, dated October 30th, 2023. Congratulations, Sheldon. We're very proud of you, and thank you for the legacy that you've left upon our community. Okay, that concludes our ceremonials for this evening. I'd like to call upon our city attorney, Fred Galante, to report out any action taken in closed session this evening. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council and everybody present. The city council met in closed session as announced by the Mayor Pro Tem and discussed the two items listed on the closed session portion of the agenda, beginning with item number 1, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, under the heading significant exposure to litigation. The city council received a briefing of that matter and no further reportable action was taken. Item number 2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, under the heading initiation of litigation. One matter, as previously announced, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock abstained from that item. The balance of the city council discussed the issue, provided direction, no further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you, Fred. City Manager Reich, are there any additions or revisions to announce to tonight's agenda?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to pull number 4 for a report.
Okay, we will pull item 4 from the consent calendar. I'd like to announce that the legislative update is included in the council agenda packet for your review. If you have a chance to review some of the legislation that we track annually, please take the time to do so. If you have any questions about it, feel free to contact any of our staff. And at this time, I'd like to discuss a few public announcements. Police open house. Our Chino Police Department is hosting a community open house at the Chino Police Station located at 5450 Guardian Way on Saturday, October 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Halloween costumes are highly encouraged. Activities will include station tours, canine demos, SWAT displays, the mounted posse, and much more. Additionally, PD will be collecting canned and non-perishable food items to give back to those in need this holiday season. For more information, call 909-334-3000. Enter the city's Halloween house decorating contest. If your house is a haunted masterpiece, it's time to share it with the world by entering the city's Halloween house decorating contest. Entering is a breeze. Simply send a high-quality photo of your eerie creation to our city's Instagram or Facebook accounts via direct message before the deadline on October 30th at 5:30 p.m. All entries will be featured on our social media, and you stand a chance to win a fantastic spooky basket filled with Halloween treats. The winner will be unveiled on October 31st. Don't miss this chance to make your Halloween unforgettable. For more details, visit www.cityofchino.org/HalloweenHome. Next, I want to issue a final reminder for the city's Halloween Spooktacular taking place on Tuesday, October 31st. We'll be gathering at Ruben S. Ayala Park, specifically fields 11, 12, and 13 from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. at night. You can expect carnival rides, delightful food stalls, hot air balloon glow, and an eerie entertainment for everyone. For details on the purchase and pickup of pre-sale carnival wristbands and all things Halloween Spooktacular, please visit www.cityofchino.org/Halloween. It's time for Chino Youth Museum Fall Bingo Bash. The Chino Youth Museum will host the Fall A Hollywood Bingo Bash fundraiser at the Chino Fairgrounds Brenderson Hall on Monday, November 13th. Doors will open at 5:15 p.m., dinner at 5:15 p.m., and bingo at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are available at the Chino Youth Museum and Senior Center for $30 and $25 for ages 55 and older. For more information, call 909-334-3270. And last but not least, I'd like to take note of the pink ribbons that we have adorned here on the dais. I'd like to draw your attention to these ribbons, symbolizing our support for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In solidarity with this cause, our police department is offering limited edition pink patches for purchase at the front counter of the police department during business hours. These patches are available for $10 each, and I encourage everyone to participate in this initiative. It's not just a symbol of awareness, but a tangible way to contribute. All the proceeds from the sales of these patches will be donated to the Loma Linda Cancer Care Center, helping us make a meaningful difference in the fight, an ongoing fight against breast cancer. Okay, at this time, actually, before I move on to public comments, I think we might have some students in the back of the room tonight. Do we have some students here this evening? I see some sneaking. Okay, we have a tradition, our city council meeting. Sir, would you like to come up and introduce yourself and just tell us where you go to school and what class you're going to so your teacher can give you credit for actually really being here? Okay, come on up. I see we have like one more being outed back there. Come on up. There's three more. The teachers in the room are not letting you hide. So make your way up with the other students. Come on and get in line. Come on up. Awesome. Thank you for coming to our council meeting tonight. Come on up. Don't be shy. Okay, so you're not alone. You're in good company. Okay, go for it.
I am a student at Cal Poly Pomona. I'm an engineering student there. My name is Justin. I'm actually doing this for my political science class. I'm here to conduct like an hour-long research study of how basically the meetings are conducted here, what you guys talk about, you know, what the whole procedure is, and basically just observe. That's essentially what I'm doing.
Well, thank you, Justin. You're in for a special treat tonight. The meeting's going to run a little different because I'm running it, but the mayor is much better at doing this, so I'm sorry you're not here to see her run it. She's much smoother at it and much more well poised, but thank you for bearing with me. Welcome tonight.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Next.
I'm from Ayala High School. My name is Amelia Gooden, and I'm here for a government class project and hoping to learn a little bit about our city's council.
Great. Who's your teacher at Ayala High School?
Mr. Allen.
Okay. Welcome, Amelia. Thank you for coming this evening.
I'm a student at Ayala High School. My teacher is also Mr. Allen. I'm Victoria Rivas, and I'm also here on account of the same project.
Welcome, Victoria. Thank you for coming tonight. Good evening, ma'am.
Good
evening. My name is Abigail Foster. My teacher is also Mr. Allen, and I'm here on account for the same school project.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm from Ayala High School. My name is Ali Chu, and I am also here for the same project.
Are you in Mr. Allen's class as well? Okay. Mr. Allen, thank you for sending your students. Ladies, it was nice to meet you, and sir, it was nice to meet you from Cal Poly. Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, this is under public comments. This is the time and place for the general public to address the city council about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. Due to council policy and Brown Act requirements, action will not be taken on any issues not on the agenda. Ordinance number 97-08, Chino Municipal Code Section 2.04.090 limits speakers to no more than 5 minutes in which to address the council, except as provided under Government Code Section 549-54.3, subsection B and 2. At this time, I'd like to call up Pastor Sheldon Boyd. For all those wishing to join us in an invocation, I invite you to stand and join with us.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your presence in this meeting tonight. Thank you, Father, for the wisdom that you will grant to our leaders in the decisions that need to be made. Father, I thank you for this wonderful city. I thank you, Lord, for all of our workers. I thank you, Lord, for our police and fire. I thank you, Father, for the so many volunteers who make this city such a great place to live. Father, I ask that your blessing would be upon this meeting tonight and upon all the discussion that is had. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sheldon. Okay, moving, actually, that was our first request to speak. Okay, our next request is Steve Chung from 5171 Edison Avenue, the Church of the Southland.
Yes.
Hi, Steve. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock. My name is Steve Chung. You may remember me from Creative Bus Sales. I'm
sure
the
do.
Regional Vice President for Creative Bus Sales, but I come on a different matter. I'm part of a church called Church of Southland. Our primary location previously, since 2003, was in Anaheim, and we've just opened a new campus in Chino. On the advice of Chris, he recommended that we come to the City Council, introduce ourselves, and welcome request your blessing in the welcoming of our church to this community. I've also invited my pastor, Richard Kim, with us. I'll be introducing him in a second. But before I do that, I wanted to give a small present to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chung. It's very nice of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very much.
I'll leave the rest to Miss Natalie to distribute as she deems appropriate. Hopefully you can say one for Miss Mary Uloa. Thank you so much.
We sure will. When are your services hosted there, Steve? You'd like us to discuss them?
So every Sunday we meet 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. We also have services on Friday night. We're a non-denominational Christian church. We're located at 5171 Edison, just near the Fastenal building there in that business cul-de-sac. We're a multi-ethnic church. And we're here to give to the community, to love the community, to share our passion with the community, to be Christ-like as much as possible in our human way. With that, let me turn over to Pastor Richard, and he can share with you more about our church.
Hello, Pastor.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, all the council members. I just wanted to say that it's a great honor and privilege for me to be here and to have a church here in Chino. I just want to share a little bit about the church that I came from. Our church, which is in Anaheim, California, we have about 1,200 adults and about 550 children. God has been really growing our church and our ministry. We started with about 100 adults and about 3 children. And God placed a heart for the community in the city of Anaheim for us, where we started a food pantry where back in 2019, and we've served 14,375 people through 4,714 volunteers. We do it twice a month, every Saturday. On top of that, we felt a calling to support the schools, so we offer school tutoring and teacher care, and where maybe some schools, the parents are not able to support as much, so we want to step in and bless all the teachers that are faithfully serving and caring for all the students and the children. We also partner with a homeless ministry called Hearts for OC, where once a month we provide shelter, food, everything that's needed to share God's love to the homeless ministry. And then on top of that, we have a home for people that are struggling with addiction, that have recently come out of incarceration, that are trying to put their life back together. I personally have served in that ministry for 4 years as the overseeing pastor, and I have seen tremendous life change where some of these people that have come in with addiction have broken their addiction, and now they're thinking about going into ministry. They have reclaimed their marriages. They have been restored with their children, and now they're ready to live lives with their families. So we have a passion for family. We have a passion for marriages. We want to see marriages enriched. We want to see marriages counseled. We offer a lot of prayer for marriages. We believe that children should have a safe and fun place to not only nurture their faith, but to grow. So we offer our Awana program. Every Thanksgiving, we have a fair for the entire community. This October, we're going to be doing a trunk or treat. And we do a Christmas musical where we invite the whole community out to just have a good time and to just really enjoy just all the things that we want to share. So, and on top of that, we have a deep commitment to pray for the city. We believe that this is one of our callings. So we just wanted to let you know that as we start a church in the city of Chino, we're going to be committed to praying for each and every one of you for God's blessings to be upon you and for God's great light and his presence to be in the city so that the city would be filled with peace and joy and blessings for all the residents that are here. So I just want to say hello. It's great for me to be here at the city of Chino, and we are eager to partner with you on your mission to provide quality and caring service to this wonderful and loving community. So thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be here. I appreciate it very greatly. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. I want to thank you personally for bringing your church to the city of Chino. We're very, very fortunate that you've selected our community, and we look forward to working with you. And thank you for your ongoing prayers for our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next speaker is Richard Kim. Oh, that was Richard, sorry, oops. The next speaker is Melissa Campani with some community announcements from Supervisor Kirk Hagman's office.
Well, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, council members, staff, and community members. My name is Melissa, and I am here to announce a couple of events that Supervisor Hagman will be hosting coming up, and we're very excited to announce these events. It seems like the first event, the Veterans Claim event, is very, very helpful for our veterans. I know that I did announce this event before. We were hoping that people could share the information in advance and that the veterans would have time to locate their DD Form 214. The claim event will be November the 8th, which would be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This will be held at Supervisor Hagman's Chino Hills office. The address is 14010 City Center Drive, and that is in Chino Hills. And like I said, if you could please bring your DD Form 214. All services that are provided that day are free of charge. The County Veteran Services officers will answer questions about existing claims, conduct benefit assessment interviews, complete claim forms and paperwork, and they can also issue San Bernardino County military veteran ID cards right there on the spot and help you file compensation claims. It's really certainly a very good event. I have personally watched many veterans get help. I know the paperwork is complicated, and they are there to help you to make sure that you get it done properly so that if you have a valid claim, it can be looked at and processed much faster. So that's a very good one. And this one might be a touch early now, but you know, we like to get the jump there. Supervisor Hagman is having his Christmas open house, which is always just a wonderful event. And if you want to save the date, that will be Thursday, December the 7th from 5:30 to 7:30. And that will be held at the Chino Hills City Hall, the foyer area of the building. And of course, there are appetizers and holiday cheer will be served. We do ask for an RSVP for this event, really just so that we can have a head count. If you have any questions, please call 909-465-5265. Of course, you can find all of this information on Supervisor Hagman's webpage or, of course, social media, Facebook, Instagram. And this year, they've really stepped it up a notch. We're going to have a QR code, which will take you right to the Eventbrite site so you can sign up easily. I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Melissa, and please tell the supervisor we said hello. Okay, our next request to speak is Martha Collins of CASA of San Bernardino County. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. My name is Martha Collins. I'm a volunteer and committee member for CASA of San Bernardino County. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. CASA recruits and trains volunteers to advocate and mentor foster children in San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County has 10,000 foster children, which is the second largest population in the state. We have almost 400 foster youth waiting to be matched up with a CASA. In order to bring attention to our organization, we have fundraising events, and just coincidentally, we have one coming up November 2nd, and that's going to be at Upland Hills Golf Course. And our district attorney of San Bernardino County, Jason Anderson, will be a guest speaker, will be the guest speaker. So I've left flyers with the city clerk, and hopefully you all can attend. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I think that concludes our request for public comment or speaking. I'd like to move on now to the consent calendar with item 4 pulled. I'd like to request a motion to call a vote for consent items 1 through 3 and 5 through 10. Okay, I've got the motion by Councilmember Flores, seconded by Councilmember Burton. Call for the vote. Okay, the motion passes 4 yes, 1 no, with 1 person absent. So, okay. I'm sorry, no. It passes 4 yes, no, 0 no, with 1 person absent. I told you that we need to get the mayor back to this. Okay. Okay, City Manager Reich, would you please give a staff report on item 4 that's been pulled from the calendar?
Our Assistant City Manager will give that report today.
Okay, oh, yep, our staff report by Jackie Melendez, our Assistant City Manager. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the Chino City Council. Good evening. My name is Jackie Melendez, and I am the Assistant City Manager. It is my honor this evening to present to you a resolution denouncing anti-Semitism and condemning all forms of hate in our great city of Chino. The city of Chino is home to a diverse population from a variety of backgrounds and creeds. We pride ourselves on being a safe and welcoming place for our residents, businesses, and visitors to live, work, and play. The idea of this resolution was presented to the city in the summer of 2023, just before our council break in August. Since that time, staff has been working with members of our faith-based community to present a resolution that truly reflects our community. In the audience this evening, we have members representing several organizations and faith-based groups who also share in the spirit of this resolution to condemn hate in all its various forms. As we sit in this amazing community this evening, it is not lost on us that we are fortunate and lucky to call Chino home. We remember those who, through the course of human history, both recent and distant, have been the victims of hate. And we stand together seeking a future where we can all live in peace and liberty, enjoying the freedom bestowed upon all of us by simply being born. The city also received a written comment from Mr. Jason Moss, Executive Director of the Jewish Federation for the Greater San Gabriel and Pomona Valleys. He was unable to be here this evening, however, left a copy of his comments, which were provided to each of our council members. The resolution presented to you this evening is presented in our agenda packet, and in the title it reads, Resolution Number 2023-065, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, denouncing anti-Semitism and condemning all forms of hatred to affirm Chino's commitment to our community. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer questions you may have on this item this evening.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Prior to comments or questions from the City Council, I would like to ask anybody in the audience if they would like to address the City Council on this item. Okay, seeing none, I do have two written requests to address the council. One from Mindy Harling of the Shabbat Jewish Center of Chino Hills. Mindy? Hello, sir.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and the city council members and everyone here tonight on such a special evening. Tonight is actually my 31st birthday, so
Happy birthday.
I'm happy that I'm able to spend part of my birthday here tonight for such a special evening condemning anti-Semitism and any forms of hate. October 7th, we all know what happened in Israel with over 1,300 people killed and 199 people taken hostage and 4,229 people injured. Hate can surpass any logical rationale and can cause people to do things that don't make any sense. As a rabbi, I've been asked throughout this past week, how is this possible? How can this happen? And as members of society, what can we do going forward to make sure things like this don't happen? So I reference back to what we were taught in the Torah, which says that Ahavas Yisrael, loving your fellow like yourself, is the most important thing in the Torah, and that hate can bring a person to do things that don't make any sense. And it's our job as human beings living in this world to treat one another with respect, to care for one another, and the proper approach going forward, how to deal with such a thing, is by adding in goodness and kindness. Because we know everything in this world is connected between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. So anything physically that happens in this world has a connection to the spiritual part of this world. So by each and every one of us adding in goodness and kindness, that actually has an effect on society and can change things for the better. So I'd like to take this opportunity now and say a prayer for the injured, for the abducted, and for the general state of the world. This is a psalm from King David. I'll say it in English. A song of ascents. I shall raise my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help is from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to falter. Your guardian will not slumber. Behold, the guardian of Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your guardian. The Lord is your shadow. He is by your right hand. By day, the sun will not smite you, nor will the moon at night. The Lord will guard you from all evil. He will guard your soul. The Lord will guard your going out and your coming in from now and to eternity. And again, thank you to the city of Chino as a Hasidic rabbi and the only Jewish organization which serves Chino and Chino Hills and the surrounding cities. I haven't experienced any anti-Semitism, being the way I dressed, people may think, but on the contrary, people have been very supportive. caring, and loving. So thank you again, and may we only hear good news.
Thank you, Rabbi. Our next request to speak is from Fateh Qureshi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you as well, Ms. Mayor Portamp and councilman and councilwoman. My name is Fateh Qureshi, and I am the Public Affairs Director for the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Los Angeles chapter as a volunteer. And I appreciate the invite for tonight, and most of you might know, and the chief himself has been to our place several times, we live by the motto, love for all, hatred for none. And we preach that and we live that on a daily basis. And with that said, I will briefly read through the statement of our leader, holy leader, His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad. If you may allow me to do that, I'll read that brief statement. He made this statement when this war broke, or in Israel and the Middle East, unrest happened. Over the past few days, hundreds of Israelis and Palestinians, including women, children, and the elderly, have been killed or injured as a result of senseless violence, bloodshed. The killing or harming of innocent civilians is a direct violation of the teachings of the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings be upon him, who taught that even in a state of warfare, no woman, child, or elder should be targeted or harmed in any way, nor should any religious leader or place of worship be attacked. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community extends its deepest sympathies and prayers to all those who have been left bereaved or affected in any way. Our hearts go out to them all. We pray and urge for an immediate end to the hostilities and for peace to prevail so that no more lives are lost. For that, it is necessary that the channels of communication between relevant parties and nations remain open. Until a ceasefire occurs, any military action taken must ensure that civilians do not come to any harm. So with that said, I, as an Ahmadiyya Muslim community, I'm representing them. I offer our help to all our Jewish friends. We have extended, called them. We made sure that everybody's living in peace and harmony. And again, I will thank the police department here who have been very active and very proactively approaching all the mosques and the temples and all that, and I think that is commendable. With that said, I thank you again. And one last thing that I wanted to mention here is, as you remember, every year we have a gathering, an annual convention in our Chino Mosque, and this year is going to be on the 23rd. And as soon as the invites are ready, I'll come back here and extend that to you. The mayor, the pro-mayor, and the council members, and anybody in the audience, if they want to join, they're most welcome. Thank you very much. Love for all, hatred for none. Thank you.
Mr. Qureshi, thank you. We've always enjoyed a good relationship with the Ahmadiyya community and the mosque over there, so thank you for attending this evening, sir. Okay, that concludes my written request to speak. Are there any members on the council who would like to comment on the resolution itself? Chris, Mark, Kurt? I think I'd just like to say briefly that we're very fortunate in the city of Chino to have such a strong faith-based community and so many churches and so many good spiritual leaders in this community to help us. And what you've seen tonight is a cross-section of leaders from different faiths coming together and supporting this resolution this evening, basically denouncing anti-Semitism as well as any type of hate. Hate is not a family value, and it's actually our honor as a city council to bring this proclamation forward tonight. In the meantime, I think we should all, as a community, pray for the leadership of Israel and other locations that are in conflict with Israel right now for peace, and that can be resolved as quickly as possible, because when there is instability in that part of the world, there seems to be instability in other parts of the world and other locations. So in the meantime, I just want to support this resolution, and I'd like to call for a motion from the council. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Burton, seconded by Councilmember Lucio. Let me take a vote, please. Okay, the motion passes unanimously, 4 with 1 absent. Okay, moving on to the public hearing. Prior to the vote of the City Council, any member of the audience will have the opportunity to address the council on any items listed under public hearings. Council requests, but it is not required that you state your name and address prior to making any remarks. Item 11 on the agenda under public hearing tonight is the annexation of territory into existing Community Facilities District number 2003-03, Improvement Area 5. I'd like to now open the public hearing, and our staff report tonight will be by our Director of Finance, Rob Burns.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. On September 5th, the City Council adopted resolution number 2023-053, declaring the City of Chino's intent to annex properties located in the preserve into Improvement Area 5 for the purpose of collecting city services tax. The collection of these revenues will be used to fulfill council's direction that new development within the preserve pay the cost of all the services being provided. These services include maintenance of parks, open space, and public safety services. Tonight's actions are to adopt the required resolutions for the annexation into the CFD, call for a special election, and immediately hold the special election and tally the election results. It's recommended that the City Council adopt the proceedings as outlined by the Mayor Pro Tem this evening. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Prior to council questions or comments, I would like to ask if there's anyone in the public that would like to address the City Council on this item. Seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing, and at this time, we are ready to call for a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2023-062. Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Lucio, seconded by Councilmember Flores. Get the vote, please. The item passes unanimously, 4 yes and 1 absent. Okay, the resolution just adopted calls for a special election to approve an annexation into Improvement Area number 5 of Community Facilities District number 2003-3. I'd like to call for our city clerk, Natalie, to open the ballots at this time.
Thank you. All ballots have been cast in connection with the election to annex territory into Improvement Area 5 of CFD number 2003-3, and the election has now been closed. The results of this election were unanimous, 13 votes in favor of the proposition.
Thank you, Natalie. Having heard the statement of the city clerk, I will now entertain a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2023-063, certifying the results of this election. I have a motion by Councilmember Flores, seconded by Councilmember Lucio. Vote, please. And the item passes unanimously with 4 and 1 absent. Okay, that concludes the public hearing. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is under new business, item 12, the issuance of bonds, Community Facilities District 2021-1. Our staff report tonight will be also by our Director of Finance, Rob Burns.
Good evening again. The City of Chino formed CFD 2021-1 in April of 2021 for the purposes of issuing bonds to pay for infrastructure needed to service the properties within this CFD area. The properties in question are located in the preserve. CFD 2021-1 is now ready and eligible to issue bonds. Therefore, tonight we are seeking approval of Resolution 2023-064, authorizing the issuance of special tax bonds of the district and approving the substantially final forms of the preliminary official statement, the fiscal agent agreement, the bond purchase agreement, the continuing disclosure agreement, and the appraisal report. It's anticipated that approximately $6.5 million of bonds will be sold later this month for the purpose of reimbursing the developer for infrastructure relating to various housing projects. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Rob. Prior to council comment or questions, I'd like to ask if there's anybody in the public who would like to address the city council on this item. Seeing none, I will move on and request a motion and a second for this item. The motion has been moved by Councilmember Burton and seconded by Councilmember Lucio. I'd like to call for the vote. The item passes unanimously 4 yes with 1 absent. Item number 13, Second Amendment Edison Avenue Reimbursement Agreement, LS College Park LLC. Our staff report tonight will be by Jesus Placencia, our Assistant City Engineer, and Warren Marillion, our Director of Development Services. Jesus, Warren, it's yours.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. On September 7th, 2004, the city entered into a development agreement with SCC College Park LLC, also known as SunCal, the City of Chino Redevelopment Agency, and the State of California for the development of the College Park specific plan. During the first phase of development of College Park, SunCal filed for bankruptcy, which resulted in the rights and interests to the development agreement being transferred to the new owner as part of the sale of the property. The new owner is LS College Park LLC, also known as Lennar Homes. The development agreement contains various terms and conditions within and surrounding the College Park specific plan area. This includes the requirement for the developer to construct public improvements, such as the ultimate street widening on Edison Avenue in front of Ayala Park from Central Avenue to Oaks Avenue. The scope of this project includes construction of a master plan storm drain, recycled water main, traffic signal modification at the intersection of Central and Edison Avenue. Lennar Homes and the city entered into a reimbursement agreement on August 2nd, 2016 for these Edison Avenue improvements for a not to exceed amount of $8,431,000. Soon after, the developer began initial construction and completed improvements such as the installation of the recycled water main. However, during construction, the developer's contractor discovered an existing Southern California Edison underground utility crossing at the Edison and Oaks intersection that obstructed the completion of the master plan storm drain at the intersection and along Oaks Avenue. This resulted in significant delays to the project. In addition, back in 2021, the developer formally bid the construction of the remaining work that hadn't been completed yet, including landscape, street improvements, traffic signal improvements, interconnect, and storm drain improvements. During that bidding process, it was discovered that the original cost estimate for the project didn't include costs for certain items such as perimeter landscape, sidewalk, the relocation of trees, and installation of monument signs. As a result, the City Council approved an amendment to the reimbursement agreement in the amount of $3,976,140 for the additional work, thus increasing the total estimated cost of the project to $12,407,140. The Edison Avenue project is still currently under construction, with the final roadway pavement improvements anticipated to be completed before the end of the calendar year. Based on staff's most recent cost projections, an additional $1,292,860 is determined to be necessary to complete the project. This amount accounts for the rise in construction costs resulting from supply chain issues, inflation, and labor shortages. It also accounts for other unanticipated costs during construction, such as additional drainage improvements that were needed to allow for the completion of the Edison Avenue improvements, while city staff and the developer continue to work with Southern California Edison to relocate their underground facilities that remain in conflict with the city's master plan storm drain. The additional $1.292 million brings the total cost of the project to a not to exceed amount of $13,700,000. The development agreement stipulates that the Edison Avenue improvements are eligible for reimbursement by the city as a successor agency to the redevelopment agency. The Edison Avenue improvements have thus been listed on each of the city's recognized obligation payment schedules and have been approved by the State of California Department of Finance as an enforceable obligation. To date, the developer has received a total reimbursement of $8,431,000 through the ROPS program. However, successor agency funds have now been exhausted and won't be sufficient to cover the total cost of the project, including fully covering the developer's most recent reimbursement request for fiscal year 2022-2023. For this reason, city staff intends to cover the shortfall in fiscal year 22-23 and all future project-related reimbursements through Measure I CP&A funds and the citywide Street Development Impact Fee Program. Therefore, staff recommends the council approve a second amendment to the reimbursement agreement with LS College Park for Edison Avenue improvements in the amount of $1,292,860 for a total not to exceed amount of $13,700,000. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jesus. Prior to questions or comments by the city council, I'd like to ask if there's any member of the public that would like to address the council on this item. Seeing none, I'll open it to council comments or questions. Mark?
Yeah, so once it's complete, what's going to be 3 lanes on in each direction?
Correct.
And then with a center medium in the middle?
Correct. They're still working on installing the landscape median. My understanding is that they're going to start the landscape work towards the end of this month.
Okay. That'll be 3 lanes starting from Central all the way to, what is it?
It's
past Mountain, right?
Past Mountain, I believe.
Okay. And any other anticipated delays? Because that thing's been going forever.
Right, there have been a number of delays. The most recent delay was related to Southern California Edison having to adjust their manhole lids and vault lids to the ultimate grade of the street pavement. So that's taken a while, but their contractor is currently in the process of making the necessary adjustments, and my understanding is they should be completed with that within the next month or so.
And as far as the ADA ramps and everything, they're all completed and
that was going back. There were changes to the design once the city changed its standards and had a ADA policy. One of the things that changed in the design is like we went back and looked at the design of the ramps and added a lot more detail to make sure that they're ADA compliant.
I appreciate it. They look good. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was compliant so we don't have to redo them again.
Right, and I think there's still one more. You might have noticed they're still working on the northeast corner at Central and Edison.
I have nothing else.
Kurt?
Jesus, does this also include the intersection at Edison and Oaks? I know they're on the north side. We've got a heck of a drainage issue there and a deep ditch on the west side of the street. Is that all going to be resolved there as well at the completion?
It will be resolved once Southern California Edison relocates their underground conduit that's in conflict with the storm drain. That's exactly where we have the conflict. So once SCE does the relocation, then it'll allow Lennar's contractor to continue building the storm drain within the intersection and up Oaks. Then once all those utility improvements are done, then they could come in and do the street improvements, do the widening, add the sidewalk, and everything else related to it.
And we're anticipating Edison will have that completed by the end of the year as well, correct?
No, not that portion of it. I was just referring to the Edison Avenue improvements having 3 lanes in each direction, but the Oaks Avenue improvements, the remainder of the storm drain is contingent on SCE relocating their conduit. We are in communication with them. They are open to relocating it, but it's complicated and something that we still need to work with them to sort out. But I'm hoping sometime in the near future they can get started with that work.
Well, that's a very complicated area out there with all the Edison lines and that easement out there, I know. Have they given us any timeline at all of when they're going to be done with that? Anticipated? Either way.
Not anything concrete. I think they're willing to partner with us and Lennar's team to look at maybe doing the work in concert with reopening the trench as part of doing the construction of the storm drain. So we're looking at ways to help expedite the process so they could get started with the work sooner rather than later. But I don't have a specific start date at this time, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Chris?
No, I guess the only question I would have is in terms of, we have this event coming up, Halloween Spooktacular. Are there going to be any, delays there with our members entering the parking lot, or what's the deal there?
I don't, there's going to be traffic control, but it should be 2 lanes in each direction, maintained at all times, and I believe the sidewalk that was recently constructed is going to be open. So I don't anticipate that there's going to be any impacts to the Halloween Spooktacular.
I just have comments, Jesus. I think the widening has been longly anticipated and longly awaited, and we're happy to see it happening. I agree with Councilmember Burton. The issue with Oaks there, in just comments, is what happens when we have events, is particularly like July 4th, because people come down Oaks on their bicycles and different things. We know that that's a different project for a different time with Edison. But also I'm hoping that our staff can help work through some of the landscaping issues that we were not able to finish on the Edison easement that goes along the pedestrian pathway there at Ayala Park, to make sure that that is appropriately landscaped now as we move forward, so it can be finished. As you know, the city portion of it looks great. When you get to the Edison easement portion of it, it looks like the desert. So hopefully we'll be able to help get Edison to help us landscape that and make it look appropriate for the park. Okay, those being my only comments, I'd like to request a motion and a second on this item. Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Lucio and seconded by Councilmember Flores. I'd like to call for the vote. That item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Thank you. Moving along to item 14, a purchase order from MK Smith Chevrolet. Our staff report tonight will be by Keith Martinez, our Assistant Public Works Services Manager, and Hai Jin Lee, our Director of Public Works.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. The City of Chino Public Works Department Fleet Division is responsible for purchasing, maintaining, repairing, and replacing all city-owned vehicles. The life cycle of each city vehicle is tracked in a fleet management system that evaluates the mileage, age, type of service, maintenance, repair history, and overall condition of each vehicle. Staff has identified 3 vehicles assigned to the City Public Works Department that are beyond their life cycle and in need of replacement. Due to growth in the Public Works Department, 7 new additional vehicles were requested for a total of 10 new city vehicles into the fleet. On July 24th, 2023, staff compiled specifications and prepared bid packages for these 10 vehicles via Planet Bids, which was broadcasted to 58 dealerships. Due to releasing several bid package specifications and requesting bids on several vehicle make and models, it was in the best interest of the city and the respective bidders to bid these vehicles on separate bids rather than as one bid. On August 4th, 2023, bids were received for each of the 6 different vehicles, with MK Smith Chevrolet, Chino, California, being the lowest responsive bidder in the aggregate amount of $421,534.04. Due to rising costs since the adoption of the original budget, along with make and model availability, staff requests an appropriation of $22,200 from the unappropriated reserves of the Equipment Management Fund to cover the shortfall. At this time, staff recommends City Council to approve a purchase order to MK Smith Chevrolet, Chino, California, in the amount of $390,279.96, plus sales tax and fees of $31,251.08, for a total amount not to exceed $421,531.04. In addition, staff recommends a vendor cap increase for MK Smith Chevrolet to $568,274.88. This concludes my presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions the City Council may have.
Thank you, Keith. Prior to any questions or comments by the City Council, is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the council on this issue, this item or issue? Seeing none, I'll open it for council questions or comments. Kurt? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to call for a motion in a second. The item has been moved by Councilmember Lucio and seconded by Councilmember Flores. I'd like to call for the vote. Okay, the item passes with 4 and 1 absent. Thank you. Moving on to item 15, the purchase order of vehicles from Fairview Ford Sales. Our staff report tonight will again be by Keith Martinez, our Assistant Public Works Director, and by Hai-Jin Lee, our Director of Public Works.
Good evening, Madam Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. The City of Chino Public Works Department Fleet Division is responsible for purchasing, maintaining, repairing, and replacing all city-owned vehicles. The life cycle of each city vehicle is tracked in a fleet management system that evaluates the mileage, age, type of service, maintenance, repair history, and overall condition of each vehicle. Staff has identified 9 vehicles assigned to the City Police Department that are beyond their life cycle and in need of replacement. Due to the police department growth, an additional 2 new vehicles were requested for a total of 11 new emergency vehicles to the fleet. On July 24, 2023, staff compiled specifications and prepared bid packages for these 11 vehicles via Planet Bids, which is again broadcasted to 58 dealerships. On August 4, 2023, 1 bid was received from Fairview Ford Sales, Inc., San Bernardino, California, in the amount of $674,479.85. Due to the addition of a new police patrol car stemming from an accident in April of this year, staff requests an appropriation of $50,000 from the unappropriated reserves of the Equipment Management Fund to cover the shortfall. Staff also recommends City Council to approve a purchase order to Fairview Ford Sales, Inc., San Bernardino, California, in the amount of $625,878, plus sales tax and fees of $48,601.85, for a total amount not to exceed $674,479.85. In addition, staff recommends a vendor cap increase for Fairview Ford Sales, Inc. to $750,991.37. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you, Keith. Prior to questions or comments from the City Council, I'd like to ask if there any member of the public would like to address the council on this item. Seeing none, is there any questions from council? Yep, Kirk, go ahead.
Keith, that's a lot of vehicles over these last 2 presentations that you've made. And I understand it, but for the benefit of the public, for them to understand the amount of vehicles that we have to replace every year or 2, can you explain the mileage process and the condition and how we take care of our own cars and you know, they're not going to go away unless they absolutely need to be replaced. Can you explain that?
Yes, our management system that we have, it's based on a point system. So it's based on age, mileage, and maintenance costs. So the target mileage for these cars, city vehicles and trucks and PD emergency vehicles is 100,000 miles. So once they hit 100,000 miles, then we have to look into replace it because of the cost to maintain it outweighs what the car is worth at that time. The issue that we have is that PD runs their cars almost on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis. So they average about 30,000 miles a year. So an average 3 years, a car is almost to its life cycle. And then by the time we go out to bid and get the dealerships to provide the vehicles, it could be 2 years out. So we have to be proactive and get this on order, or we lose out and then we're waiting another 2 years. By that time, we can be looking at 160,000 miles on a vehicle that is constantly in the repair shop getting much needed repairs that we're just spending money on. On top of that, we do our own maintenance as well. Anything that's outside of our scope, we would put it to the local repair shops that can handle it for us.
I appreciate that. And like you said, those police cars are running 24/7, some of those. Those are hard miles, 100,000 hard miles. Those vehicles have to stay running to continue to support the electronics in the car, the batteries, the radios, and everything that goes along with it. But I appreciate our staff and the work that we do in getting in and really making sure that, you know, when we get rid of these cars, we trade these things out and get new cars, that they're ready to go. And we've got that management system like you'd mentioned, and I know that's a lot. It sounds like a lot of cars because it is, but we need to get rid of them when that time comes, because at that point in time, it becomes a liability to the city. So thank you. I appreciate your report.
Well, Keith, it's also my understanding that some of these vehicle purchases are continuing budget allocation items. Is that correct as well?
Correct. We also hit a stall, if you will, with COVID. So a lot of the dealerships, a lot of the manufacturers were just at a standstill. So we're actually finally catching up to what should have been already processed years ago.
So some of the purchases that are occurring this year are ones that we couldn't get during the pandemic, which has inflated that figure a little bit more, sir. Is that correct?
Correct. And the last, I think we've just finished up 22, 23, and if this gets approved, we'll be looking at 1 or 2 more cars, and we should be all caught up.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah,
Mark?
I do. You know, unlike the last agenda item, we went and we obviously got our bid, and everything's being purchased through MK Smith, which is a local dealership, and the taxes obviously go to the city of Chino and stay here. Why didn't we reach out to, you know, although their name is geographically wrong, Chino Hills Ford, which is really in Chino, why didn't we reach out to Chino Hills Ford and see if they could supply these vehicles for us so that it would remain here in Chino?
Depending on the make and model, obviously Ford, we could have reached out to them. I think they couldn't produce what we were asking for. So we had to go outside. They had the opportunity to bid. They were notified, and I don't think they took the opportunity to bid.
I would just ask if in the future, when we have a local dealership like that we don't just say, hey, they had the opportunity to bid. I think we need to, as a city, to be able to keep our dealerships here, because as we know, a lot of these dealerships have struggled through COVID, that we probably should have went the extra mile and said, hey, look, we're really looking for this. If you guys, we'd really like to buy them here, and make that extra effort, because this is one of our only dealerships we have here in the city of Chino, and it's it's Ford, and I think we should have done a little bit more than just blasted that out on Planet bids, and then they didn't bid, so we just didn't even contact them. I think we only have Chevy and we only have Ford, and if we're buying Chevys and Fords, we should be reaching out to our dealerships here. That's just my opinion. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I just think we need to go a little extra than that. That's all I have.
Kurt?
I would agree with that. However, everybody has the opportunity to bid, and the specs are put out there as well. Is that right, Keith?
Correct.
And the way I understand it, if they can't supply it according to what our expectations are and our specs, they're not even going to bid for that, right?
Correct. That's why with MK Smith, we had to separate them and do individual bid packages, because if they can't get all of them, they just don't bid any of them. So if you limit to, so like the Fords were all one, so they can all provide the Fords, but for MK Smith, there were several different types of vehicles, and if they couldn't make 1 or 2 of them, then they would just not bid the project or bid the cars.
Why is that, Keith? Is that because of our bidding process? It's just too challenging for them, or why is that?
It's availability.
Why don't they want to do, they can't get a couple of them?
Yeah, it's availability. Sometimes they can't provide what other dealerships can.
Okay.
Another question, have we ever purchased any vehicles from Chino Hills Ford?
I believe so.
Yeah.
In the past, correct.
So they should know our process?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I understand they have an opportunity, but I think just if we're trying to take care of our dealerships here, I just think we could extend it, and if they say, hey, after we make that call and they say we can't do it, then at least we did our due diligence. That would be all I'm asking.
We can definitely do that.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good practice too, Keith, developing a personal relationship with our local dealers, making sure they know. So, thank you. Chris? Okay. If there's no other comments, I'd like to call for a motion in a second. Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Lucio and seconded by Councilmember Flores. I'd like to call for the vote, please. The item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Thank you. Moving on to item 16 is going to be a vendor cap increase and award of contract for American Guard Services Incorporated. Our staff report tonight will be by Jackie Melendez, our Assistant City Manager, and Anna Lizeth Ordonez, our Management Assistant. Ladies?
Good evening. My name is Jackie Melendez. I'm the Assistant City Manager.
And I'm Ana Lizette Ordonez, Management Assistant with the Administration Department.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the Chino City Council. Tonight, I present to you a staff report authorizing the purchase of guard services for city facilities. This includes an increase in funds to the current contract and the authorization of a new contract with the same company after the result of a formal bid process. The city currently contracts with American Guard Services, Inc. for security guard services for city facilities, including City Hall, the Senior Center, and the Carolyn Owens Community Center, and has done so since 2017. An amendment to the current contract was approved administratively in July of 2023, extending the term to October 31st, 2023, and allocating $50,000 to the current contract. This would allow the city time to complete a bid process, review proposals, and select a provider. Today, staff requests a vendor cap increase in the amount of $25,000 to the current contract for an amount not to exceed $75,000. Approval would prevent an interruption in service and close out the current contract. In August of 2023, the city released a request for proposals. 4 companies were selected for a review, for a second review. That's 4 companies. After a thorough review of these respondents, including cost and qualifications, staff recommends awarding the contract to American Guard Services in an amount not to exceed $157,200. If approved, this contract would require an additional allocation from the general fund reserve in the amount of $37,200. This would also put the contract on a fiscal year cycle, allowing the new contract to term out on June 30th, 2024, and allow for 2 extensions thereafter. The city has been generally pleased with the service provided by American Guard Services, and their formal bid with qualifications is attached to this report. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have this evening.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Anna. Prior to council questions or comments, I'd like to ask if there's any member of the public that would like to address the council on this item. Seeing none, any council comments or questions?
Just a couple of questions. Yeah,
Chris?
so we're currently in contract with them, is that correct?
That's correct.
You know, one thing I've noticed, I ride my bike all throughout the downtown areas, there's a lot of turnover from the security, guards that are, offered. I'm not sure what the reason to that is, but if there's any way you can address that, I'd appreciate that. I think over the last 3 years, I've probably met about maybe 6 or 7 different ones. I don't know if that's particularly an issue, but I just, when there's a lot of turnover, sometimes that's not good. And the second thing I guess I would say is there's one of our community members, most people in the room probably know him, his name is Ridge. He's always out front reading books, right? He reads 2 or 3 books a day, and that's just, he likes to sit out on the front lawn. And he's always coming up to me and saying that some of these guards are always telling him to get off the lawn, get off the lawn, get off the lawn. And it is, public, it is open to the public, and he knows that, Ridge knows that. And there's always that just constant battle between, again, some of these guards that are being turned over fairly quickly, and Ridge in particular. So if we can address that when we bring somebody on, or we know who that guard who's guarding at least at City Hall lawn, if we can at least prep them with that, I'd appreciate that.
Awesome, thank you. We will look into both of those items. Thank you for bringing it to our attention this evening.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody else? Okay, seeing no further questions or comments, I'd like to call for a motion in a second. The item's been moved by Councilmember Flores and seconded by Councilmember Lucio. I'd like to call for the vote. The item passes yes 4 with 1 absent. Okay, thank you very much, Anna and Jackie. That moves us on to mayor and council reports. With the mayor being absent tonight, I'll start with mine. Mine's going to be very short. On October 10th, I attended the council workshop here along with staff and other members of the council and the public regarding commissioners and commissioner workshops, the commissioner workshop, and getting feedback about term assignments, different feedback we solicited from both committees about, appointments and different things involving our Community Services Commission and our Planning Commission. And then on October 11th, I attended the Fire Board meeting in Chino Hills, along with the fire chief and the staff. My report is short, and I actually missed the last meeting because I was out of the country for 2 weeks, traveling abroad in Italy with my parents. I was happy to take my mom and dad over to the Ryder Cup in Marco Simone, Rome. We spent the first week there, and the second week sightseeing in Rome, which was a very nice trip. It was a hard trip. If you've ever traveled that way, the flight and the walking and the sightseeing, it's phenomenal. And in fact, one of the highlights, had a lot of members of our faith-based community here tonight, was actually traveling to Vatican City and seeing the Vatican, the Sistine Chapel, and St. Peter's Basilica with my mother and father, who are getting older. So that was a great trip, but I'm happy to be back home, especially after what happened in Israel. I was probably never so happy to be back on American soil in my life. So just a great trip with my family. And then the last thing I'd like to say is part of the reason I wanted to take this trip with my family is my mom and dad will be celebrating 49 years of marriage here at the end of October. It's a remarkable milestone for them, and a lot of other kids had to go out there when they were younger and look for other heroes. And my mom and dad this day are my heroes and did a great job raising three kids. And I'm just very, very proud of them and that accomplishment. And then we'll be celebrating with them later in October. So that trip was to celebrate, like I said, their marriage, visit the Ryder Cup, and I'll keep my comments to that. Thank you very much. Let me see here. Councilmember Burton, you're next up.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. On the 4th, I attended the Coffee with a Cop at the Painted Dough donut shop. I had an opportunity to meet with several residents of the community. It was a very nice conversation. It was nice having the police out there interacting with the community as well. And I had an opportunity to meet the owner. I believe his name was Danny at the Painted Dough. What a nice guy he is. I really like his thoughts of what he wants to do with his restaurant, and he's doing a great job. And if you've never been into the Painted Dough, I would encourage you to go in. He's very, very pro Chino, and just a great place. So go on in there when you have a chance. On the 5th, I attended the Economic Horizon 2024. An economist came into the city. We met down at El Prado Golf Course. He talked about what lies ahead in the Inland Empire. A lot of interesting thoughts that he had about our economy. Learned a lot, and some of the things I agreed with, some that I didn't, but the majority of our staff were there, and it was a really good informative time there. On the 7th, I attended the Making Strides Relay for Life, a breast cancer awareness relay here at the Civic Center with the mayor and Councilmember Flores. I think we had probably between 600 and 800 people here. And I was very, very impressed with what they put together, and I'd like to see that happen annually. Linda, if we can do that, the plan is that we have them here annually. It's a great program and something we should embrace. On the 9th, I attended the Investment Advisory Committee meeting. I had my meeting with the city manager. On the 10th, I attended the council workshop meeting to discuss items regarding the planning and community services commissioners. The 11th, the mayor's prayer breakfast, and on the 17th today, I attended closed session. And Mayor Pro Tem, that's all I have.
Thank you, Kurt. You've been very busy. Councilmember Flores, you have item 17 for the Community Support Fund, and your staff report, please.
Yes, so the Chino Youth Museum has their trick or treat days coming up October 25th through the 28th from 10 to 4 p.m. And they also have a Hollywood Bingo Bash on November 13th. Doors open at 5:15. So just in supportive of those two events in our Chino Youth Museum, I'm asking that the City Council approve a contribution to the Chino Youth Museum.
Thank you, Chris. I'd like to call for a motion in a second. That item has been moved by Councilmember Burton and seconded by Councilmember Lucio. Call for the vote, please. That item passes 4 yes with 1 absent. Okay, Chris, on to your report.
Well, thank you. So on the 5th of October, I attended the Economic Horizon 2024 with some of our staff and some city council members as well. On the 7th of October, I attended the Don Lugo Car Show, hosted by the Don Lugo Sports Boosters, and the car show, another car show hosted by Praise Chapel, Chino Valley. On the 9th of October, I attended the Investment Advisory Committee meeting with Councilmember Kurt, and on the 10th of October, I had my one-on-one with our city manager and attended the council workshop that day as well. And on the 16th of October, I attended the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Board meeting. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Chris. Councilmember Lucio?
Yes, on October 5th, I also attended the Economic Horizon, What Lies Ahead conference that they had there at Prado Golf Course. I also got the opportunity to meet Frank and Danielle Beziraga, the new owners of the golf course. They have some plans to improve the golf course, so I'm excited about that because, as we all know, Prado's been in dire need of some love and some upgrading. Same thing, I agree with Councilmember Burton. His opinion on what was going to happen with the economy is a little different than everything I read, but like they said, economists were created so that weather people could sound reliable. So on the 10th, I attended the Inland Empire Latino Economic and Policy Summit. There was some other economists there with a little bit more of a realistic approach of what may be coming in the next years to come. But one of the things that they both talk about is they both talked about that California itself has surpassed Germany as now the 4th largest economy in the world. But one of the things that they all talked about is that the one that's leading that drive in California is really the Inland Empire. And the Inland Empire is the one that's really, creating all the jobs that where all the people are moving to, and how important the Inland Empire truly is, but how, unfortunately for us, we continue to be separated. So I did have the opportunity to also attend a regional leadership academy that happened on the 12th, and it was held at Fontana City Hall, and I was able to listen to Mayor Aquanetta Warren, and I'd never heard her speak, but she's actually a very, very good speaker. And she basically said, the problem that we're having right here in the Inland Empire is all our cities are competing and battling with each other, as opposed to coming together and uniting and becoming a force here and being able to show and showcase ourselves against the rest of the state and show everything that we're doing and the economy that we're driving. And she made a great point. She was also, they also talked about, and it was good to go see how other cities do it and find that's some of the decorations that we have. I took a picture for our city manager and said, hey, Fontana decorates their city hall with October pink, and why aren't we doing the same thing? So I'm glad. Thank you for doing that for us. But some of the things that she talked about is some of the things we talk about. She talked about they want to spend a couple $100 million in their downtown revitalization. They're going to be building parking structures to bring people here so that they have places to park. Their downtown area is no different than our downtown area. It's old, just like ours is. I know you hear from local people that say, hey, we shouldn't do anything, we should leave everything the same. That's not what cities are doing. Cities are not staying stagnant and leaving things to just, they're revitalizing. Sammy Hagar apparently grew up in Fontana, so they're creating a live music theme that's going to happen down there, and they're pouring a bunch of money in there, and Sammy Hagar is going to be involved in bringing in live bands and a big part of the revitalization, and that's something that they're embracing because they want to bring venues to their residents so that their residents don't have to go out. And the only way we're going to be a force to be reckoned with is we start holding type of venues and entertainment like that here in the Inland Empire, so we don't have to go to LA anymore, so we don't have to go to Orange County anymore, so our residents can stay here. So I mean, it was great to see what they do, and one of the things that they had in Fontana was they had basically a little plaque in front of all the council members' seats, and it basically says, is this right for Fontana? So just in case, we think, well, this isn't good, I don't like it because I have personal feelings, at the end, you look at it and say, well, is this good for the city? And that's really the way us up here should be thinking always. Is this the right thing for the city? Maybe I might not like it, but will it move the city forward in the direction that we want to go to? And I thought that was a pretty powerful message. And so I really enjoyed being a part of that Regional Leadership Academy. And fortunately, every month we move to different locations. I think next month we go to Downey and we'll go to the gas company to go see how gas is done, so that if in case anybody ever asks me, hey, how do you import gas and how does gas, we know, and they take us to all the different sectors, and then they take us to different businesses that are thriving within the Inland Empire. But I think it's good. I think we should all be involved in that. I think for us, obviously the city government part, we already know the city government part, but it's always good to see how other people do it, so that, I'm a firm believer, you only get better when you start looking at other people and see what they do correctly, and you take a little bit of that and make it work within your city. So that's just what I got from it. I thought it was powerful. I think it's something that we should all be involved in. I think we should all start working with our sister cities as elected officials, build those relationships. Because I'll tell you, it's nice to know that you can pick up the phone and call somebody from another city and say, hey, I really need help on this, or hey, we'd like to partner up with you guys in this, and be able to have that type of relationship. And I think that's something that we really have not had in a long time in this region, not just our city, but the whole region. Also, on the 11th, I did meet with Father Joseph from St. Paul the Apostle. He has some plans that he wants to do to some of the land that they own there off of Chino Avenue. So he wanted to meet with us to see what the process was, because they hadn't done anything in a long time. So we guided him in the direction to who to meet with the city and who to call. So whatever you guys can do to at least help him out so that he understands what the process is, I'd appreciate it. And other than that, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. It sounds like those are some great comments. Pretty exciting for them. So, City Manager, Dr. Reich, do we have any report tonight?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. No report tonight.
Okay. City Attorney, any report this evening?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Just an update, the governor last week on October 11th signed 56 bills related to fostering affordable housing, and they range from steps to remove barriers to approvals of development of housing to authorizing religious and college institutions to use a portion of their property for housing and tenant protections. Our office is preparing a summary of these bills, and we'll be providing that to your staff and any council members that are interested. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Chief Minson, you have a report for us this evening?
So I just want to start off. So the Chino Police Department continues to monitor the current events that are taken throughout the world. And last week, as information was coming out through social media and different channels of a possible attack somewhere in our country, we remained in constant communication, our task force, our terrorism liaison officers with the Joint Regional Intelligence Center. We remained in contact with them to make sure that if there was any information in our region or in our area that we were informed. Also reached out to, at the same time, we reached out to our allied agencies that surrounded us, all the cities that touched us. Actually, I spoke to the police chiefs to make sure that they hadn't received any information that we didn't already have. And then on top of that, just out of abundance of caution, we redeployed several of our police officers out to the field to extra patrol different locations. We made contact with several different of the churches and the high frequent where lots of crowds. So I just want to encourage our community to report any suspicious activity that they may see to the Chino Police Department by either calling 911 or our non-emergency number of 909-628-1234. So just glad, obviously, everything, our community here is safe. And I mean, just what happened today, our partnership with our faith-based, our mosque, our temples, our churches, we're able to have that relationship with them, to be in constant conversation with them. So if they hear something, they can inform us. And that's it on that. Just, and the second thing is excited for our upcoming open house with our Halloween theme on October 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Chino Police Department. And that concludes my report unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And our fire report tonight by Deputy Chief Scabar. Carlos?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Comstock, council members, staff, and community. I have 2 updates regarding the Confire ambulance and the new Fire Station 68. The fire district is anticipating a vote from San Bernardino County Board of Directors in November regarding their decision for medical transport in the county, so we're looking forward to that. New Fire Station 68 is currently in the CEQA process. The fire district is soliciting input from residents for 30 days until November 6th. The CEQA document is found at the district headquarters and our website. Next Saturday, Chino Valley Fire's annual open house will be October 21st from 9 a.m. to noon at Fire Station 61, located at 5092 Schaefer Avenue. We will have live demonstrations, hands-only CPR instruction, fire station tours, apparatus displays, and informational booths. We ask residents to use the QR code to register, which is found on our flyers and Fire District website. The Fire District is also hosting the annual State of the District next Wednesday, October 25th at Fire Station 61. This event is open to the public and starts at 11:30 a.m. and ends at 1 p.m. The cost is $30, which includes lunch, and proceeds will benefit Chino Valley Fire Foundation. The foundation supports many community programs such as the AED Trauma Kit Program, Make a Child Smile, Adopt a Family Program, just to name a few. Go to Eventbrite website and search for CVFD State of the District 2023 to register. Also, the Chino Valley Fire Foundation is hosting a golf tournament benefit at Top Golf in Ontario on November 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. For more information, visit ChinoValleyFireFoundation.com to register or sponsor the event. And I do have flyers for these events with me if anyone's interested. And a safety message for residents who will be trick-or-treating this Halloween: please wear reflective clothing and do not assume a vehicle sees you while crossing the streets. Please be safe out there. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Carlos. Before you leave, would you like to tell the council and the public about your celebration at the last board meeting? It's quite a significant milestone for you as well.
So I hit my 30-year anniversary with the fire district.
Yeah, congratulations, Carlos. Yeah, very well deserved. Okay, with that being stated, I just want to I see a couple of our planning commissioners and community service commissioners in the audience tonight. Thank you for being here. Harvey Liu from the Fire Board, thank you for being here as well. We will stand adjourned. The next regular meeting of the Chino City Council will be held on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Closed session no earlier than 4 p.m. if necessary in these council chambers. Thank you.